a lot of folks have it confused when it comes to assets and liabilities. And a lot of people think that, their home is an asset, their car is an asset, their jewelry is an asset. And I understand an asset to be something that throws off money. It generates revenue. So when you go to buy a home and your banker might tell you, oh yes, your home is one of your greatest assets, or a great asset. And the reality of that is true. But if you're paying a mortgage, and you tell me if I'm correct, every 30 days for the next 30 years, that's not an asset to you. That's a liability to you, but it's an asset to the bank, because now you literally are on the hook for 30 years to work for that bank, because if you don't have their money, you will lose your home. So really help my people understand why it's essential to build up assets as opposed to incurring liabilities, and what are some fundamental assets they can start developing as they're learning and becoming more financially literate to gradually get toward greater assets, and what type of liabilities they want to stay away from.
Well, you made a couple of great points, and to give people some greater insight, because a lot of people may sit and confused, say, oh, my house is an asset. It's definitely an asset. Well, assets are things that do appreciate in value as well, and hopefully they appreciate rapidly in value so that you can benefit from those. But the big thing is you don't want to spend money on things that don't appreciate in value and things that don't throw off cash flow, as you mentioned. But there are things such as business credit that you may leverage in order to buy an asset. And you can take a loan out from the bank to buy real estate that appreciates in value, that produces cash flow. And that is a way for you to build wealth. So if you are going to use debt, you want to use it in a way in which you are acquiring assets that produces positive cash flow. And again, you don't want these alligators where you end up losing the rental property you bought because you couldn't afford to pay the $200 or $300 or $3,000 on that particular mortgage. But when you look at some of the other types of assets out there, again, we touched on intellectual property. But before I get on that, I want to talk about one story, because I think this really captures the essence of what we talked about before with identifying your value. There was a young lady, she started my coaching program. She was an associate in the Gap. She said, I know a lot of millionaires, but I don't feel as though I can give them anything of value that would make them want to associate with me or be a part of their businesses. So the things that we did is we helped her identify and raise her value by developing some media properties, things like television shows, radio shows, things that say, now, would you like to come on my show because I can expose your business to, thousands or millions of people? Well, that becomes an asset, and now more people want to be associated with you. And the beautiful thing is you do not have to be an expert. You do not have to have a particular skill, and I call it the Oprah Winfrey model. Oprah is far from an expert on anything, but she's a great filter and a translator for people because she brings all of these experts to help solve people's problems. So by building your network, and again, 80% of your success will be the result of joint venture relationships, strategic partnerships, political alliances, and things of that nature. So build those relationships. Those are huge assets that can be leveraged to create businesses, intellectual property, and other forms of income and cash flow.